Good morning, everybody. This is Liz Schote, registered dietitian and director of clinical nutrition here at Jackson Purchase Medical Center, doing another Learning with Liz lesson. So if you watched last week's episode, I was talking about, it's the first of the year and everybody wants to do their New Year's resolutions. A lot of people say, I'm going to try to eat a little bit healthier or something like that. But the other thing that everyone always talks about is I want to increase my exercise. And how can I do that? And how can I do that safely? So we have a guest today. This is Allyson Vogt, and she is a physical therapist here at Jackson Purchase Medical Center. And she's going to talk about some different exercises. Maybe she might even show us a few things. So hopefully this will kind of help you out with trying to do things safely, because if you do an exercise wrong, you actually could hurt yourself instead of help yourself. So Allyson, what would you like to tell us today?
All right. Well, thank you for having me. And I think this is a good time of year when everybody's kind of got exercise on their mind. And it's sometimes where I start to see some patients where the people get a little, about mid-January, late January, they start getting too zealous and then all of a sudden have some slight injuries. So this is my hope to get everybody started off safely. And kind of the concepts that I think are important to remember is, depending on where you're at right now as far as your level of fitness, that you start out gradual and that you, and we've all heard that, but there are ways to make exercises doable for anyone and then progress them as you can. It also is very important to have consistency. Because, if I do it once a week or just here and there, I'm not going to have the same results. And it's also, once you build up a certain level of fitness and then you went someplace and you didn't do anything for several weeks, then you're starting over. And starting over is hard. So try to be consistent and just keep that level of fitness that once you get going. And have a goal, because it's very hard to sometimes get out of bed or to fit it into our schedule. And so if you have a goal that you want to be able to get up the steps without getting short of breath, or you want to be able to participate in an activity that you just can't right now, maybe hiking or whatever it is for you, then that may make it a little bit more motivational. Some people do real well with a little checklist or a calendar and they check it off. I did exercise today, or, and that makes them accountable to themselves. Maybe you have an event, a vacation, a wedding, or something special that might make you also kind of work toward. Another good thing is, for some of this is to include a friend. If you have a friend doing it with you, it just makes it a lot less, more, a lot just painless. Then you're going to enjoy yourself while you do it. So those are some tips that I went through, and I've got about 8 little items that are like quick things. I might not go into a lot of detail, but I just that will cover, if you can take time out of your day to cover this, and maybe some days focus more on one than the other. But these are 8 areas that if you could do these, that you will probably really increase your fitness level. And the first one is just walking. And so we all, most of us can walk, maybe to a different degree. But so start out, if you're already pretty active, you might be able to go out and start walking 30 minutes and, and then gradually increase. If you're not walking at all, then you may need to start out with 5 or 10 minutes walking to your mailbox, doing something that's within your scope. Then you can start just gradually increasing. Hey, I'm doing fine. I can increase it by 5 or 10 minutes until you can build up to, a little bit, a longer walk. You can start then intensifying your workout by doing inclines or speed. So start out just with what is a very comfortable speed, and then you might push yourself in that way to progress yourself. The next thing is the interval training, and you can do this with cardiovascular exercises, with walking or biking or several things. But they say it challenges your cardiovascular system a little bit more if you just don't always do it at the same intensity. If you go for a minute at a higher, pushing yourself a little bit, and then slack it off for 3 or 4 minutes at your lower level, and then back it up. It makes your heart and everything have to adjust versus if you just did it all at the same level the entire time. The next one is for more muscular strengthening, and it's very functional, is doing squats. And we all do this, but to a different degree. But if you're not real active, you might stand at your kitchen counter for some balance and do a partial squat. And you want to be careful to do it with good mechanics so that you don't injure your knees. But if you come straight down with your back straight, and then as you become stronger, you can squat a little bit deeper. But just start out slow because coming up is a little harder. And then you can start doing it to a chair, like where you squat down and touch your bottom on the chair and come back up. And then start out, maybe don't do too many reps the first day. Make sure you're not sore in the front of your thighs. And then as you can do more, you can increase your repetitions to, 20 or reps or whatever your level of fitness might be. This is a little bit low for me. You'd probably be at your kitchen counter and you want to just touch for balance and come down where your knees you're coming down right between your knees and not forward. And as you get stronger, you can go lower and lower. And then eventually you could do one coming down to a chair. Next one is lunges. And then we take this a step further and it's actually taking a step forward in lunging down. And again, wanting to use good form, not to put stress on our knees, but this really can, if you do it with good form, which can help your hips and core. For a lunge, this way, we want to step out and come down and drop right between our legs. You don't want to come forward. So you step out and you come this way, and you step out the other leg and come right between your legs. The next one is push-ups, and everybody's, I can't do push-ups, but you can adapt push-ups, and you can start out doing them like standing at your kitchen counter and putting your hands about shoulder width apart, bring your legs out and just dip a little bit. It doesn't have to be full press up, push up, but little dips to work your arms. And then as you get stronger, you can do more repetitions and deeper reps. Then you can progress to doing more on the floor, and you don't have to. If you're really fit, you can be doing like a military style push up. But this work is very good for your arms and your core. Push ups will have your hands on the counter, and you can have your legs out, and you can start out with just a small one, and as you get stronger, you can start going deeper. If you want to progress from that, you can do that. Do it on the floor. This would be or you could start out with one with your knees on the floor and doing your push up that way. Usually best to have your hands about shoulder width apart. And then as you get to where you're really strong, you can do your press up with your legs out. The next one is talking about your abdominal muscles, and we don't really advocate sit-ups too much for too many people because so many people don't do it correctly. So there are ways we can do things that will strengthen our core, but not put any strain so much on our lower back. And so you can lie on your back and just tighten your abs and press your back into the floor, and then do like maybe a little march with your leg. If you are more fit, then you can do like a partial just crunch, but just really wanting to be careful to not hurt your back. For abdominal exercises, you can do this with your knees bent up, and you want to kind of try to press your back into the floor or bed and tighten your abdominal muscles. With that being tightened, you can do a small little leg lift. This will challenge you just a little bit more. You can do an arm raise over your head and keep this all tight as you do it without letting your ribs come up. So you're coming back. Then you can also start progressing and doing your legs out further, and while you're keeping this tight. You can add some weights to your arms if you want to make it a little bit more challenging. The next one is a bent forward row, and so many times our activities are things that pull us forward or this way, so we have to balance out and try to strengthen our upper back muscles and help us maintain better posture. So like bending forward and just rowing and pulling your arm back. You start out with no weight at all, and then as that becomes quite easy, you can add a small barbell, or even I tell people grab a can of vegetables or anything you got handy and do that also. Then the bent forward rows, you can also do holding onto a counter, or you can just do it standing, and you're just pulling a weight or starting out with no weight and pulling your arm back. And then the last one that gets overlooked a lot is flexibility. And it's important just because it helps us maintain good posture and for just being able to do things that functionally with less difficulty. So main groups I look at is our anterior chest, because again, we tend to be kind of forward a lot on computers and things. So we can go in a doorway and stretch our anterior chest. And then we can also do hamstring stretches, where you can do this several different ways, but one simple one is just putting your leg out forward, having your back nice and straight and leaning forward till you feel that little tug behind your knee. And then another one is for your hips, because we sit quite a bit sometimes, and the front of our hips can get tight. And so you can just stretching out flat on your back can, for some people, is a stretch. For others, if you don't feel that way, you can drop that one leg off the side of the bed until you feel a little stretch in the front of your hip. And then also your calf muscles, because they sometimes will tighten up too, just kind of facing a wall and putting one leg in front of the other and gently stretching your calf muscle. All these flexibility exercises are just to be done very gently. Hold like for 20 seconds, and maybe only do a few repetitions, but don't bounce, because that's what can kind of strain muscles and kind of if they're not used to that. Flexibility exercises for your front of your chest is to go in a doorway. Put your hands, you can put them up high. If that's too much, you can put them down a little lower. And then you just lean forward till you feel a little stretch in the front of your chest. We would just be seated, put your foot out, lean forward a little bit till you feel this pull a little behind your knee. And then the calf stretch, we would be standing, and I just say up to a wall probably, and one leg behind you, keep the back heel down, bend your front leg till you feel that stretch in the back of your calf. And then or switch and get the other leg as well. So these are a few little tips that hopefully maybe kind of get people thinking and starting to get those New Year's resolutions in action.
Those are all wonderful, wonderful ideas and things to do. And hopefully, like we said, hopefully this can help you and help me become more fit for the year. So if you have any questions on any of the topics or ideas that Allyson had, please just kind of drop us a line or questions about any of that. Or if you have any topic you would like for us to further to discuss, again, just kind of drop us a line here on our Facebook site. And we're so glad that you guys are watching today, and hopefully this will help you get a little bit more fit for the year, as well as healthy eating, and we'll further talk about that. So thanks for watching, and we hope everyone has a great fit day.